Okay, so big news today. May 12th, 2025. President Trump's signed a new executive order.
That's right. Aimed squarely at prescription drug prices here in the U.S., trying to cut them, apparently quite significantly.
Yeah, significantly seems like the word. So our goal here really is just to dig into what we know so far, the key pieces of this
Mm,
policy, and, think about what the potential fallout might be.
exactly. We're looking at the announcement itself, the details that have emerged from the policy outline.
Right, so let's start with the core idea. What the main mechanism they're proposing.
Well, the heart of it is this concept called the Most Favored Nation Pricing Model, MFN for short.
MFN. Okay. What does it actually mean in practice?
It essentially means the U.S. government aims to pay no more for certain medications than the lowest price paid by any other developed country.
Wow. So basically linking our prices to the lowest international price.
Pretty much. The argument is that Americans have been paying vastly more, and this tries to correct that.
And the claimed savings are huge, right? I saw numbers like 30%, maybe even up to 80% reduction.
Yeah, those are the figures being put forward, potentially saving billions of dollars. It's a very ambitious goal.
Billions. But it's not for all drugs, is it? Which ones are targeted?
No, it's quite specific. It targets drugs that are typically administered in a doctor's office or hospital setting. Think cancer treatments, injectables.
Ah, so things covered under Medicare Part B.
Exactly, Medicare Part B drugs. And that affects a lot of people. Around 70 million older Americans are covered under Part B.
Okay, so it's focused, but still impacts a huge group. The goal is clearly to tackle that price disparity between the U.S. and, well, everywhere else.
That's the stated aim, yes, to bring U.S. prices more in line.
Now, this whole MFN idea,
Hmm.
it sounds familiar. Haven't we been down this road before?
We have actually. If you look back, this is essentially a revival of a similar initiative from President Trump's first term.
Right, I remember something about that. What happened then?
Well, that attempt hit some major roadblocks. It was challenged in court by pharmaceutical companies.
Ah, lawsuits.
Yes, multiple lawsuits. And ultimately, it was blocked by federal courts. They raised issues about, how it was being implemented, the administrative procedures.
So a history of strong opposition and legal hurdles. Which brings us to now. How's the pharmaceutical industry reacting this time? I can't imagine they're pleased.
No, predictable and strong opposition again. Their core argument is that this kind of price control undermines their profits.
Okay.
And they argue that those profits are necessary to fund research and development for new drugs. Stifling innovation is the key phrase you hear.
But there's always the counter-argument, isn't there? That U.S. prices are already disproportionately high compared to other markets, funding maybe more than just R&D.
That's certainly part of the debate. The industry maintains the high costs and risks justify the prices. But it's also important, like you noted earlier, that this order is limited.
Right. It doesn't hit the drugs you pick up at the pharmacy counter.
Correct. Most prescriptions filled at retail pharmacies aren't included in this specific MFN order. It's really focused on those Part B physician-administered drugs.
So the immediate battleground is likely over those specific, often expensive drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And given the history, more legal challenges are almost certain.
Almost certainly, yes. The executive order basically directs the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, to start the process of implementing this MFN model.
So it kicks off the process.
Exactly. It sets the policy direction. How it unfolds, especially with expected legal fights, is the big question. The industry might also worry, long-term about whether new drugs would launch here first if prices are capped like this.
Okay, so summing it up, it's a renewed push for MFN pricing on specific high-cost Medicare drugs, aiming to link U.S. prices to the lowest internationally. Promises big savings, but faces definite strong industry pushback and likely court battles.
That captures it well. Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe for you, the listener. Considering those past legal defeats, what factors might make this time different? Could shifts in legal thinking, or maybe the specific way they try to implement it now, actually allow this policy to stick and reshape healthcare costs? Or will it face the same fate?
A really interesting question. Definitely something we'll need to keep a close eye on.